Welcome to this week's episode of Coffee with the Journalist, brought to you by One Pitch. The guests on our show include some of the most notable journalists from the top US-based publications who cover topics including technology, lifestyle and culture, health, science, consumer products, and business news. We discuss their role, the types of stories they cover, what their inbox looks like, and how they connect with sources. Today, we're joined by Rebecca Jennings, a senior reporter at Vox. More specifically, Rebecca covers internet culture for The Goods. Previously, she was a video producer and host at Racked, and before that, she covered fashion, New York City retail, and local goings-on at Brooklyn Magazine, The Elle Magazine, and Time Out New York. On the episode, Rebecca starts by telling us about her 70,000 unread emails, the types of stories that pique her interest, her favorite reality TV show, and more. Let's dive into the episode now.
Welcome, everybody. It is Coffee with the Journalists, where we bring you journalists who chat all about what they frankly don't like about pitches, but also what they think about the future of journalism. What are they reading and writing and loving? What are they looking for? And how can we make our relationships with journalists better as publicists, comms people, marketing folks, etc. I'm Beck Bamberger. I run BAM. That's an agency that works with all venture-backed technology companies. And then also I made this thing called One Pitch, which is helping the relationships between journalists and publicists. Today, who was just laughing at that intro, I heard that, Rebecca, is Rebecca Jennings. She's a senior reporter at Vox. She's been at Vox, as you all heard just a second ago, for a handful of years now. She's based in New York City, the probably capital of all this crazy culture and stuff that Rebecca writes about, which we will totally get into because I'm sure you have a lot of fun, Rebecca, covering the internet of culture for The Goods. Welcome, Rebecca, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Let's hop in your inbox. So how crazy is it? How do you keep it clean? Do you keep it clean? You know, some people don't like it clean. So you tell me.
Well, I am unfortunately one of those people that has, let me check, I think it's around 70,000 unread emails.
No, That's the most I've ever heard.
It was more.
Wow.
It's been 400,000. Like,
this is a moment. This is like record breaking on this show of 70 plus interviews now. Holy cow.
I know, it's not great. And I've been trying to be better about this. I've organized the inbox that I can see on the screen. That's a lot more organized now, but I am full chaos mode. It's not great.
But that seems to work for you.
I think the problem is that just through, my email used to be hooked up to a certain tip line from an old website I used to work at.
Yeah.
And so it would just be garbage. And I'd never had the energy or the willpower to go through and unsubscribe to all the brand emails I get.
Yeah.
So it's just a combination of things where it's why would I want to spend a bajillion years cleaning up this inbox when I'm just going to have to do it every day to keep it clean?
Yeah.
Because I'm lazy.
Okay. It's so interesting. There's absolutely two schools of thought and a few others, I'll say, on the inbox maintenance as it is for journalists. And some are the let it ride people. You're queen of that.
Yep.
I'm going to give you the crown. And then there's the absolute get it to zero, unread every day, 24 hours, mass delete. I mean, it's fascinating to hear.
Seems so stressful.
It does, but we're all trying to figure it out. Do you respond to some pitches, no pitches? What would you say?
The rate of response is probably 5%. And I know that's evil, but it's just I think I'm on all these really long lists where there's just mass press releases going out. And it's yes, I could take the twos, being please take me off this list, but I always feel rude about that. And then, so what I end up doing is I'll get a couple pitches that I'm okay, maybe there's a new tech thing that could somehow become part of my beat. But it's I think the problem is that I don't really cover news that much. I mostly do commentary on things. If I'm offered an interview with a founder or something that maybe will affect the beat, sure. But I mostly think in terms of long features or analysis, not PR, press releases about something new is not necessarily what I'm interested in, which is, I think is weird. So it's like, I understand why I get all those pitches, but
Yeah.
I just can't respond to all of them.
Yes. Why don't you chat about what your beat entails? Because it is internet culture, but that is wide and deep. Do tell us.
I think that what I'm most interested in is like how normal people are using the technology that's available to them and what effect that like influencers and famous people and subcultures are having on those decisions. So these are very like mushy kind of concepts. So as you can imagine, it's like a press release isn't going to help me much with that, because normally what I'm looking for is like interesting ways that like regular people, like people that can't afford to hire publicists. And
Yes.
like, so whenever, and to be honest, like, you know, I cover like kids who get really famous really fast. That's a big part of my beat. And, you know, the thing that I always think about is like, if I'm getting pitched them by a publicist, then I don't really have any interest in talking to them, because it's like, clearly this is like, what's more interesting to me is someone who just like randomly stumbled upon, you know, viral fame and now like has to deal with that. It's not the people that are like, okay, I'm savvy in this business. I get a publicist, whatever. That's nothing against publicists. It's just the stuff that I report on.
I'd almost imagine if they have a publicist, it's too late to the game. They're too big. They're too out there. They're too formal.
It's part of that. And there's just so many famous creators and like, or like micro famous creators. And so, you know, the ones that are kind of doing something that's already been done, like they're a musician, like that's great. That's really cool. And like a music publication will probably cover them, or like a fashion or lifestyle. But like, I'm not as interested in covering something that's sort of like, okay, they're this artist. Like, is there a controversy around them? You know, it's just really hard to like see this vast pool of people. I don't know. I wouldn't be doing my job if I only profiled the people that I get pitched from publicists, because that's just sort of propping up this system of like, okay, the people that can afford publicists, I'm just doing puff pieces on them, you know?
Interesting take. Oh, I like this combo so far, because publicists are probably like shaking in their boots a little bit, but
oh my God, sorry.
No, it's fine. This is why we're here. What is your top pet peeve then with pitches, even the couple that you read?
Oh my God, I hate this, because like there's so much journalists like dunking on publicists. Like I really, really hate that, because like I know, like I get it. I know that like you're doing your jobs and anything like that. Like I really try not to do that.
That's why we like to have this podcast, to like bring the human of the journalist to us, you know, chat about it. Let's talk about it instead of just dumping on Twitter. Yeah, totally.
I think the one thing that actually like really kind of is upsetting and weird is like when you feel a little bit like guilt tripped and like, hey, I saw you posted on Instagram. Like I would just really appreciate you responding. And it's like, oh my God, like it's like the third time that they're emailing me and they're like, hey, like it's just very guilt trippy. And I like get really angry when I see that. It's like, what? Like there's a reason I didn't respond to the first 3 emails. Like, it's just not like, what would you have me do? Like, are you my boss? Like, no. So it's only people that I've never met before, you know, like people that I've met have always been very lovely and great. It's just random people that I'm just like, what? Like, what makes you think we're besties from that, you know?
Ugh. The guilt trip pitch, not usually going well. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I wonder who that works on.
Right. Exactly. And I think like, another thing actually is, and I can't take credit for this, it's Taylor Lorenz's like favorite mantra, which is like that your success is not a story. And it's like, I get pitched so much where it's like, look at this amazing person. Look how successful and famous they are. And it's like, well, if I haven't heard of them, then they're not like that famous. Like, you know, like, and like, if I was interested in them, I would have already like reached out, you know, it's just like, I think it's tough, especially when you're a publicist for a creator, you know, I feel bad, you know, it's hard to know what to do with that.
I want to chat about from the stories you do, and my God, are they varied? Like I'm looking at one from hot girl culture, whatever you want it to be, $5,000 for the perfect butt, you know, how to get the perfect butt, you know, you're talking about Bama Rush. Oh my gosh, where do you get the inspiration for the stories?
Yeah, so that is actually the easy part, to be quite honest, because like I sort of am more of like a day 3 reporter. And like, I don't know if that's like a term you guys use, but it's like day 1 reporters either. Like, so it's like the people that break the news, those are people that are like, you know, like grinding and doing that kind of stuff. Then there's people who like aggregate that, you know, day 1 stories. Then there's people who kind of have a take, and that's sort of like what I do, plus, you know, a long form feature that like takes months and months to do and then drops. So to be honest, like my job, like finding stories to me is pretty easy because it's only really worth doing like a 3rd day take if it's like bubbling up in the public consciousness.
I see.
So what I do is sort of like, you know, bring my knowledge of TikTok and my knowledge of young people, I guess, and the internet to sort of put all these things in context. Like, hey, this thing that people keep talking about this, it's like actually, it's like very like, well, actually, in a kind of cringy way, but you know, I try not to do that.
Got it. So that puts you in sitting in an interesting piece of the time, because really you're in a mode of listening, not necessarily. And it's different, of course, for the breaking news people. They don't have inspiration. They're just like, what's going on in the world? That's my job. I just need to be there. I just need to be there and sucking in the information as quickly as possible and getting it out. Yours is more listening. And then, of course, those longer term, more, it takes 3.5 months to produce a piece. That's where a lot of kind of brainstorming can come into play. So, interesting. Do you spend hours a day on TikTok, Twitter, etc.?
I definitely spend hours a day on Twitter. On TikTok, I've had to set up limits because otherwise, like, I'll ruin my sleep schedule. So what I love to do is I walk uphill on the treadmill and I scroll TikTok.
Wow. Oh, so you're getting a walk and then you're doing
Yeah, man.
I love that.
I know.
Love it.
I really love to brag on that practice I've started because I'm like, wow, I'm doing 2 things at once. I feel like a genius.
Oh, I love the walk and talk, doing something. Oh my gosh. Yes.
And I do a lot in the mornings and in like during the day and the afternoon. It's like technically scrolling through TikTok is my job. So, you know, there's many an afternoon where I spend an hour or 2 just like scrolling. And
you probably get like 10,000 steps in. It's fabulous.
I don't walk for that long, but
okay.
I can just be lying on the couch and scrolling through TikTok as well.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow. I like that tip. If you got to be scrolling for your job, get a walk in, get your steps in. There you go.
Today's interview will continue after this brief message brought to you by OnePitch. Are you curious to see the unique ways OnePitch helps PR professionals and marketers pitch journalists? Head to onepitch.co to learn about our new OnePitch score and see how easy it is to find the right journalist to pitch your news to. Sign up for your free account today. Now, back to today's episode.
Now to our fill in the blank section. Rebecca, here we go.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You'll get a response from me if.
Oh, okay. Oh, God. No, I mean, oh God. If you have a really great expert or source that I would like to be connected with.
Okay. You can follow up with me if
it's within my area of coverage. And I know that's like a wide array. So it's like, I don't mind a follow-up. Like I expect follow-ups. That's normal.
Yes. Just don't follow up with a supply chain pitch or China relations. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
There you go. It would be a huge help if sources
were more available. And I guess a lot of my sources are like kids a lot, and they're so difficult to wrangle. And I guess that's not really a publicist problem, but if also sources were really honest about their concerns about speaking to me as a journalist, like, so I can do whatever I can to like make them feel better about talking to the press, because I know how scary it is. I want the conversation to be open. I want to be able to tell them, like, this is how your quotes are going to be used. This is what the angle of the story is. And I am happy to answer any like misgivings that they have, especially from publicists. I think like I would love if a publicist is like, this person is really worried about this. And I can be like, well, I can either be like, well, that's sort of what I'm writing about. They have the right to do that. But yeah, I think that it can absolutely be a 2-way street.
Okay. It's good for people to know. Ooh, okay. We got a couple more. The best compliment I received about my work was.
Oh my gosh. There's been such nice emails. Like, I think some of my favorites.
Oh, I love that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's great. I think my favorites are from like, you know, middle-aged people who are like, this is really helping me understand like what my daughter's into. Like, it's so sweet. Like, I get like,
are you serious? Really? I love that.
yeah, it's the best. And they're just like, and they'll tell me like little stories about their kids or their grandkids. And I'm just like, this is amazing. I'm obsessed with you.
Oh my God. There's probably like a fan group or a Facebook group about you somewhere.
No. It's just every once in a while, like just like one person will be like, I stumbled across this and thank you for explaining that. It's just really nice.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my perfect Sunday is...
Oh my gosh. Waking up, catching up on the Real Housewives of the week.
All of them or specific?
Oh, I watch all of them. Every single.
God,
yes.
That's a lot. That's a
I
lot.
know. But there's only like 3 seasons going on at a time. So it's only like 3. They rotate throughout the year.
Totally manageable. God, that is quite the franchise. What's your favorite, by the way?
I think all time is New York for sure. But this season, Potomac and Salt Lake City and Beverly Hills are great.
Oh God!
I guess there's 4 going on right now.
They keep expanding. Okay. So Housewives, and then what else? Or is that all?
No.
I mean, I don't know.
Housewives bike to the Prospect Park, maybe stop by the farmer's market, get a little pumpkin coffee, maybe read my book in the park or do some like writing, and then meeting up with some friends for a drink and like maybe getting dinner or cooking together. And then at night, me and my boyfriend are watching Game of Thrones from the start. So that's fun. Like a nice little end.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it. That's a good Sunday. Okay. My favorite hobby is...
Oh, my favorite hobby is honestly drinking with my friends. But like that's like the real answer. But I think that my fake answer. I love
it. This is why I love the show. Real answers. We want to hear real. What's up? Yeah.
My other favorite hobbies are fiction writing, and I was a figure skater growing up. So like when my outdoor rink in Prospect Park is open for like 4 months out of the year, like that is the best. Just waking up on a morning and going to skate before work.
Oh, no. Oh, you get to skate before work? Oh, it sounds so cozy. It just brings me to like, well, I'm in California and I've never really been on ice. But it reminds me of the little Peanuts show, you know, the little Christmas one, and that little ice cream thing that they all, the ice rink at the little snow. Anyway, I'll say that's my only thing to ice rinks. Charlie Brown. Okay. The last song I listened to was...
Oh my gosh. So I listen to classical music when I write, which is what I was listening to. But I think while I was putting my makeup on, I was listening to the Love Island 2021 playlist. So it's all these like Trop House EDM remixes.
God. But tropical?
It's like sort of like Kygo type of music.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was something from that. I don't even know their names. I just like let it play.
Perfect. I love it. Okay, now some little seasonal stuff. My favorite fall recipe or food is...
Oh my gosh. This is very hard for me as a Vermonter. It's like I come alive in the fall.
Love that.
I make killer pumpkin bars, which are just like, it's basically a pumpkin muffin, and then you put like cream cheese frosting on them. They're super moist. It's sort of like I guess like a loaf. So a pumpkin loaf with cream cheese frosting.
Now, real pumpkin? You scraping it out of a pumpkin, or are you getting the canned stuff?
No, I get the cans.
You get the can. Okay, I just want to clarify. Okay. My best Halloween costume.
Oh my gosh. Easy. I went as Zombie Deschanel. So I was Zoe Deschanel, but I was like a zombie version.
What? Oh my God. Are there pictures of this?
Yes, they're from 2013, so I don't have a ton, but yeah.
Okay, send them in. I want to see this. Ooh, maybe that's something we should do. I'm going to tell Jared on here, like, let's round up all the costumes from our favorite journalists for the fall. Okay. And then lastly, on the fill in the blank, quarantine has taught me.
Oh man. Quarantine has taught me that I am an absolute cat person, because I was one of the people that adopted a cat in quarantine, and it's been great.
Oh, not just one. So not crazy cat lady, just one.
Funny you say that because I just won,
Okay.
but over like 3 weeks ago, I agreed to foster these 2 kittens, and now my life is just cats.
Oh, so you got 3 with you?
I have 3, and they're really a lot of work, and I'm like regretting my choice.
Hopefully they can keep each other entertained. Do they? Or is it chaos all the time?
It's not that; it's the fact that there's poop all over my apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cat crazy over there. Okay.
Yes.
Now, completely different, Rebecca. What are you? I mean, we already heard a little bit on the housewife thing, but anything you're reading, watching, listening to, frankly, we will take anything of storytelling. We do not care the medium. We just want to know what it is because I get all my recommendations right here, right now.
Oh, for sure. The last book I read was Outline by Rachel Cusk. She's like a beautiful, beautiful writer. And I also read Heartburn by Nora Ephron. Amazing. So funny. I've been really into records lately because we got a record player. And so I bought like obviously Folklore on vinyl. I'm obsessed with it. I got Folklore. I got Phoebe Bridgers, Carly Rae Jepsen, Bon Iver.
Wow.
This is very like Beirut, very just my type of music.
Yeah.
And I finished all of Love Island this season.
And how was that?
I didn't realize quite how long it was. It's like many hours of television that you're committing to. But yeah, it was very fun.
Now, wait. So Love Island, that's on Hulu. They have multiple countries, right?
Yeah, I watched the UK
They're like
one.
the UK. Oh, okay. The UK one. Yes.
That's like the original, the classic. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Everybody watch the UK version. All right. What do you think the future of journalism looks like?
I like how this is going a completely different direction.
Totally pivoted there, yes.
You know, I think the trend of like people trusting individual writers versus news organizations is definitely going to continue, for better or for worse. I like absolutely think that's a bit. It can cause a lot of issues, and it's not my favorite way of, that, because it's just like it's sort of every man for themselves in a way that I don't love. Like, as someone who was a union organizer at my company, it's like I don't love that, the stars in the newsroom are already getting like all the attention from the company, and now it's like now they're also getting the attention from the entire world. So I think that can cause a lot of problems, but that's clearly the way that like things are going. I think like the creator economy will just like continue coming for us all, and so that's why you have a lot of like journalists who are turning into sort of like influencers themselves.
Yeah, it's quite true.
Yeah, and it's like everything is kind of like personal branding, and I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon, but I do think that we're getting a lot less garbage being pumped out, because I think like when I first started, it was like when I first started like in this field, it was like 2013, 2014, and everybody was hired to write like 9 blogs a day. And
I remember that time where it was just like pump it out, pump it out, pump it out. It was just click, like as many clicks as you can get. Like it was the click game for sure.
Absolutely.
And that, I think, has changed, thankfully.
On the one hand, it's much tougher to get jobs in journalism now because there aren't really those jobs anymore if you want to work at like a reputable publication. But there's better journalism than there ever has been in the history of the universe. Like, there's such great writing, and I think I'm glad that like that writing is getting more attention, and I think newsrooms are investing in that versus like the click game, because as we know, that was sort of built on lies and the whims of Facebook and Google and things like that. So yeah.
I do like your point about the individual. People love to hate institutions, right? The media or insert whatever outlet. But when you drill it then down to a person, it's a whole different level of, I think, scrutiny and trust. And a lot of times trust is built by the actual individual. An institute is too nebulous and intangible, all this stuff. So
I think we like to see organizations as like, oh, they're like conspiring against us at the top. Whereas like you just kind of like one person. And so you listen to what they say and you're like, okay, I like this person, so therefore I trust them. So it's tough.
Well, pivoting here once again, we're going to do a little Mad Lib and we'll see how it goes. So I'll tee up the words and then I'll fill it all in and then we'll read it back, see what we get. Does that sound good?
It sounds great.
Let's do it. What is an emotion?
Joy.
Joy. Yes. An adjective.
Cute.
Cute. Another adjective.
Angry.
Angry. A greeting of any kind.
Hiya. Wow. I don't even know where these are coming from. I've never said that in my life.
Okay. This is why these are so fun, because it digs into the trenches of the mind. What is a verb?
Skating.
Skating. There we go. A noun.
Owl.
An owl. Yes. I haven't thought about an owl in I don't know how long, but that's very fallish. Okay. Adjective.
Breezy.
I like it. I like it. A cringe-worthy PR term or phrase. Pick your favorite.
Oh, man. Oh, my God. There's so many. Urgent on something that's not urgent.
Yeah. Part of a pitch. Any part of a pitch. The subject line, press kit, whatever.
Yeah, let's do media kit.
Media kit. An amount of time.
3 days.
3 days. A person, ideally alive.
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga. And then lastly, an emotion.
Fear.
Fear. All right, here we go, Rebecca. When I think of the future of journalism, I feel joy. The pitches I receive have gone from cute to angry. If I receive a pitch that starts with hiya, I start skating. When I write stories on owls, I get super breezy. My favorite pitches include urgent and media kits. I normally take around 3 days to respond to my emails, but if it's Lady Gaga, I will respond immediately. If you do get a response from me, you should know that I am very fearful for you.
This is hilarious.
I like it. Yes.
Oh my God.
If Lady Gaga did email you, I think you'd write back real quick.
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding?
Yeah. Heck yeah. Rebecca, thank you for being on today. This has been such fun. Joy, to use one of your words. It has been joy having you on. I cannot wait to read the next article on, I don't know, the He's All That Hallmark movie for Gen Z. I mean, now I'm like, oh my God, I got to hit refresh on your stuff just to see what the hell the internet is. My
Amazing.
God. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. I love chatting with other Rebeccas.
Yes, always a good idea.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Coffee with the Journalist featuring Rebecca Jennings from Vox. If you enjoy listening to our show, make sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. And if you have a moment, please leave us a review to share your thoughts about the show and today's guest. To learn more about the latest tools on OnePitch and to subscribe to our weekly podcast newsletter, head to our website at onepitch.co. We'll see you all next week with a brand new guest and even more insights about the journalists you want to learn more about. Until then, start great stories.